right, welcome everybody. This is the Ref Room. I am Scott Smokin Silz along with Brad Baumruck, and I can't believe it is almost playoff time. Where did the season go?
End of the season, baby. I told you. It'd be here before we knew it.
Oh my gosh! When's the season going to start at this point? I feel like we just haven't even had one yet. So,
hey, winter seminars. Think about that.
Stop.
Seminars are coming right up around the corner here. And,
have you already scheduled those? Do you already have the ice time purchase for those, or what?
We will be starting that up here in, let's see, today's the 22nd, so 9 days.
Wow.
We'll start that February 1st. You turned yourself sideways.
I'm going crazy here. I'm just going nuts.
But think about this. Registration will open in June. So you're only 5 months away from registration, right? So
golf season hopefully will be going by June. It'll hopefully be sooner than the seminars, okay?
I hope so. Last year it started off a little late. Remember, spring came pretty late, and then all of a sudden the next thing I knew, we were in the hockey rinks.
I feel like we lost 2 weeks because of the way Christmas and New Year's fell this year. And then it's over. It's like, what happened? So, man.
Christmas and New Year's, whenever they fall on that Monday.
Yeah.
That's where it makes it difficult because you traditionally always lose like 2 weekends. But when they fall on the Mondays, you definitely lose because nobody plays on either Sunday, really. I think there was only like 5 games that played on New Year's Eve, which was
I got to grow the comment here a little bit because Mr. Crow is checking in with us. What's up, Alex? What's up, boys? Thank you. Appreciate it. We're all good. Just like we said, can't believe the season is coming to a close here. I mean,
Senior
nights. A good one.
Senior
playoffs.
Nights, baby.
Playoffs, baby. Playoffs. I'll tell you, all the games feel like playoffs. The intensity is there. It's kind of fun. Everybody's amped up. They're ready to go. So it's going to be exciting. So today we are going to be talking about, since it's cold outside, I think it's going to stay cold for a while. It's been super cold outside, and I'm going to have the car repair bills to prove it. But it's been crazy cold. And so we wanted to talk a little about if you're doing an outdoor hockey game, how to prepare for one, what you need to have with you to make your life better. And,
what you should be thinking about.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're out on the ice. So.
Yeah. Well, should we get right to it, or you got something else you want to cover?
No. I mean, I just.
We usually say something about the NHL. Well, Bedard's going to come back early. All right.
No. I actually saw that Corey Perry signed with the Oilers today.
Yeah.
At a very big discount.
I didn't see what the discount price was, but I'm sure there was a coupon attached.
Well, I thought he signed for like 3.75 for 3 years. I think that's what he was signed. I can't remember. It was already a long time ago.
You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb. I'd work for that discounted price. Okay, I would take the same discounted cut.
Well, no. That's what he signed with the Hawks, I'm pretty sure. But this discounted price was $775,000.
Again, I will take the discounted price. I will go to work for you for that.
Yeah, I'd play ice hockey for
Must be good to be Corey Perry, huh? Even after he gets through whatever happened here, which we still don't really know, do we? We can speculate. We have some pretty good ideas of what happened here, but we don't know.
No, these things happen, unfortunately. So, but yeah, I was shocked to see that this afternoon when it came out. I didn't think anybody was going to because he made it through waivers and everything.
Yeah.
And you know what? Somebody just pointed out, too. I did see that. Patrick Waugh, he's going to be the Islanders head coach.
Doing some homework while I listen to the lads talk hockey. That's us. Okay. Thank you for that, Alex. And what else did he say? I had Wabanzi versus Nikwa senior night last night. It's in full swing. Woo. Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what. I had a senior night the other night, too. And it was funny because I had GBS the other night. And Philbin was behind the bench and, pregame meeting. I said, so Jimmy, it's senior night. He goes, no. Next week is senior night. I said, take a look around at your officials. It's senior night. He got a chuckle out of that one. But yeah, so we had a senior night this past weekend. Speaking of senior nights, we're still going to get to the outdoor hockey, but I do want to put this out there since I got your ear and probably Ahi's ear and maybe USA Hockey's ear with these senior nights. I think it would be nice to let the officials know that they are senior nights, and to let us know if we are actually, if the game is scheduled for 8 p.m. Is the senior night starting at 8 p.m. and the game is starting at 8:20 or 8:30? Or are you trying to get us there a half hour earlier than early and just sit there? And I think there's got to be a way to say, if we're doing a senior night, which we like, but you should tell us the game time we will be starting at 8:15 with the warm-ups and the game like you're scheduled for. And the senior night will take place at 7:45, meaning you don't have to be ready at 7:45 because you see where I'm going with this, right?
Yeah, so the Illinois West League actually does buffer in before their game the added time for their senior nights. They started doing that last season. I know some of the clubs try to. I know that was brought up by the president of Illinois West because he showed up to a game and the referees were there, and he's like, why are you guys still standing here? It's this time. And they're like, it's a senior night. And he's like, what? And like he was like, okay. So they actually built it in. Like you can even tell, like there's been some games like this weekend, they had a JV game. I saw it was at whatever time. And then I had the senior night afterwards, and I could tell by the JV slot being like, it was like 25 minutes longer than it normally would, just because I saw both games on the web. Like, I knew that they had built it in. So when I got there, we started on time. They were already doing senior night. Like, they started like maybe like 10 minutes after I got there, 5-10 minutes. So I was there a half hour
I just feel
early,
like there should be some sort of notification, and we should be like clued in on that, because I'm going to tell you why. I had a scheduler text me, asked me to work another game later that night. They were having trouble getting somebody. And I said, okay, I have a game at this location. I'm not saying what location.
Right.
But
And you're going to get over here.
I will go do your game. No problem. I said, I'm probably going to be a little tight on time. They're like, yeah, that's cool. No problem. I get to the game
Push you over
and find out it's a senior night. So I texted them and said, bad news. It's a senior night. And so the game went away from me. So, I wish we would know in advance. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the same kind of concept that we talked about, like, to whereas we need to know what time it starts to, like if they're going to play longer than normal expected periods.
Yeah.
Like, because we're not scheduling for anything longer. Like, so if we get held up, we're actually, you're not only impacting my day, right, at that point, you could be impacting the next 40 people that are playing in the next game, which are coaches and parents and all that, of course, right?
Right.
So, like, I totally get where you're talking about.
Yeah.
So
that, and I think some of these organizations, and I had this experience the other night, need to be realistic in what they are scheduling. You can't schedule 70 minutes for 3 17s, an overtime, and a shootout.
Yeah.
And I had 2 games go the full overtime and 1 into a shootout. And I think the JV game started an hour and 35 minutes late the other night, which was like,
hey,
past curfew.
I'm just gonna point one thing out. Like, this is just my own personal opinion, and nobody has to change.
Right.
But why do they have to have a shootout and overtime? Like,
I'm not even debating what they want to have. Like, okay, great. I got no problem. I like, the 3-on-3. Somebody's have 4-on-4, 5-on-5. Like, why? You can't win in regulation 5-on-5. I like the 3-on-3. It's fast. It's a different game. I think it's cool. I like the shootouts. I like it all. I really do. But you just need to plan accordingly. You need to plan for it in your times.
Well, so, and then here, watching 3-on-3 hockey to me is like watching paint dry. Like, I'd rather watch, like, go to the laundromat and watch the clothes spin around. Like, I'd rather watch that. I think 3-on-3 hockey is pointless. I don't watch the NHL's All-Star game because they're going to play 3-on-3 hockey. I have no idea why they even have defensemen at the All-Star game in the NHL anymore. What's the point?
Why do they even have goalies? They light them up, so it doesn't matter if they're there or not.
Just put a shooter in and let them shoot the corners.
Yeah, see if you can hit the corner.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. It's just not for me. Like, and then the shootout, okay, I get to where they want to have an ending. I get that. And they want to have a winner every time. I understand that, too. And they don't want to go the length of baseball to where they keep playing and playing because there's more time for injuries. So I get all that. But when we go into a shootout, see, here's what I hate about it. You're taking a team sport and making it a one-on-one sport.
Yeah.
And why should the game be decided by that outcome? But it's just me.
You may be a little young, but, when they used to have, I think it was NBC used to have the game of the week on Sundays, like at noon. And they used to have this segment called, was it called Shootout or Breakaway? I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a tournament, and they had like brackets, and these guys competed to win. And that's really where the shootout came from. It was like a breakaway format. It was a shootout format without calling it that. They didn't, have it set up as that.
It's like a home run. It's like a home run derby.
Yeah, I always liked it.
Remember back because they used to publicize. I think that was on like Tuesday nights or something back in the day. Yeah. They would have home run derbies, and it would be two guys for a half hour on TV. And they'd have a home run derby between the two of them, and then there'd be a bracket, and they'd move into the next spot. And that was well before my time, both of those. And by the way, the game of the week, that's where Peter the Puck was, right?
Yeah, Peter Puck
was out and teaching the rules.
Peter Puck was awesome. How many people learned hockey because of Peter Puck? I mean, that was another great feature that they had.
So my dad and my uncle found in like a garage sale a million years ago this guy that was selling these VHSs, and he had taken all Peter Puck's things and put them together. They were on one long big VHS. So when I was like 10 or whatever it was, that was like the big thing. They would always put it on, and we'd watch like 30 minutes of that. So like, it's funny because a lot of people actually learned the rules of hockey from Peter the Puck. He was, for the real young people, he was a little puck out on the ice.
Maybe we should get a Peter the Puck for some of the parents and coaches.
Hey, you know what?
Wrong icing. Where does the face-off go?
Well, I saw. You know what?
Check with Peter Puck.
Well, I think if they went back and did that, like with the NHL, if they went and did that, people would have an overwhelmingly, positive attitude to that. Now, the only problem is the NHL plays with such different rules than amateur hockey that it doesn't help us at all.
Here's Peter Puck. If you check anybody in the NHL, you will be suspended for life.
Unless you're Darian Hatcher and you hit Wayne Gretzky, you'll still be fined.
Don't touch Sidney Crosby, according to Peter Puck.
Here are the top 10 players to avoid on the ice.
Yeah.
But they're not tough guys.
You cannot check in NHL hockey. Yeah, that'd be good stuff. That'd be funny. Maybe we should do our own version of Peter Puck for the NHL.
A comedy parallel.
Yeah.
Let's get back.
Now we have to talk about outdoor hockey. Is that the deal?
Yeah. We can't postpone it to the next show. We've done that before.
We have.
Do that today.
All right. Well, why don't you run down your list of things that you should do for outdoor, and then I'll come back with my thoughts on outdoor hockey.
Yeah, I think number one, the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is, you're going outdoors, expect totally unexpected. It could be snowing, it could be raining, could be sleeting. You could have, lights that don't work. Make sure that you have, visor spray. That's a big thing. I see people that are outdoors and their visors keep fogging up. I don't normally carry visor spray in my stuff. Yeah. I just use Pledge, and it generally works.
Shampoo or any kind of body wash, if you rub it into on the inside of your shield and kind of buff it out, leaves a little coating in there. That'll work too, I think.
So and dress and layer, bring enough layers. That's number one. You can always take a layer off after a period. Like that's one thing.
Yeah. So actually, like a good test site for doing an outdoor game be like going and working 3 games in a row at Addison. And if you don't have hypothermia by then, you'll kind of understand where.
It was surprisingly, I was there 2 weeks ago, and it was actually hot in there.
You know, it's funny you said that because I was in there 2 weeks ago and I was like, you know what? It's not as bad as it's when it got really cold outside. It's like, let's go in Addison and warm up. But yeah, it wasn't as bad. But trust me, you know, if you do 3 in a row at Addison, you'll have a good feel for what an outdoor game feels like.
So definitely wear enough layers. I would definitely suggest a windbreaker. If it is really windy out, you may want to put a windbreaker on underneath your stuff. You know, try not to have it hanging out through like the sides. Take it, tuck it into your referee pants, and then take the belt and tighten it up for you there. Like the windbreaker's a big thing. Another thing that I don't need is gloves. I've wore gloves one time. It was outdoors. But it was like -40 outside with wind chill. It was like -45. So I did wear them. But I just wore super thin, like whatchamacallit, like mechanics gloves. That's what I wore just to protect my skin from frostbite and from when I was picking up the puck. Yeah. But that's the only time I've worn them. Normally I deal with it. I do know that people do get the those packets. What are those things called? The hand warmers.
Yeah, hand warmers, and they have them for your feet too. They have toe warmers if it's really bad. Like you can put them under the insole of your skate. You don't want to put them on your sock. You want to get them under the insole, and they will cook you appropriately to the proper temperature.
So I never knew this. Somebody taught me this when I was out doing stuff for Christmas a couple years ago. And I do have hand warmers for when I do that kind of stuff because I do take my gloves off a lot to like play with wires and stuff like that. And I had the hand warmers just inside, like on my palm, right? Mm-hmm. And my buddy's like, dude, you're doing that wrong. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you don't want it there. At the back of your hand, he goes, because then all the blood flow goes right through it and circulates. Right. Yeah. I had no idea of this. So
I have something that I keep in my bag. Somebody gave me a pair of these one year for Christmas, and then they turned around and gave me another pair the following year, and they're awesome. They're called Wristies, WRISTIES or something like that. You can find them on, you know, like any of the websites. But basically, it's a cover. It looks like a fingerless glove, I guess. It exposes your thumb, it exposes your hands, but it covers the back of this and goes up your sleeve. And it works really well. I highly recommend those too. If you don't want to wear gloves and you really, you can't quite tell that they're on. They, you know, it doesn't look like you have a glove. It looks like maybe your sleeve's a little long. It's not bad. So if you want to.
I learned something. See?
Yeah. Well, I'm learning from you. Like you've already taught me a couple things I didn't know about doing outdoors. So some really good suggestions because I actually saw one guy used to do a lot outdoor. He had a referee jacket, I guess you would call it. It was like nylon, so that it was like a windbreaker for him. And you know, so there are some different things like that. But you know, socks, I think it'd be hard to double layer. I think you'd be better off putting the toe warmers in than trying to put a couple pair of socks on and being uncomfortable out there.
That's the only time I wear socks.
Yeah.
That's the only time I wear socks is when I referee outdoors. And it's not because my feet get cold. It's because the part where your tongue doesn't meet the heel, the tendon guard in the back. Excuse me, I couldn't think of the name there. There's that space, right? And then you have that space to where like you'll have about this much exposed skin. That's the reason I wear it, because if not, my side of my leg gets cold and I'm freezing by the end of it. So that's the only time I wear socks. And skates that you don't wear socks ever. They don't come out. Yeah. You're throwing those socks away. Let's just put it that way afterwards, because that's what I've always done.
Okay. All right. Well, that's helpful. Do you go with anything under the eyes if it's a sunny day, or do you wear sunglasses for a sunny day? Like I've heard some officials say it's really bad in some places if they get that 2:00 afternoon game in the glare.
So I don't wear the eye black. I have worn sunglasses before. The one thing is you do want to check the sunglasses that you're going to get. They want to sit flush to your head because there are some glasses that have like that little curve out when they go around the back of your ears and they kind of curve. You can put one of those like holder things, see? Kind of like that, yeah. That like, but they
maybe
curve
you can
out.
see it better,
That's better,
like that,
yeah.
or maybe I should turn
like
it
that,
to get a.
Well, that curve out, like it cuts into your helmet and pushes into your head if it's on there. So you want to make sure that there's ones that they actually like slide flat to your head. And I'll suggest this: the ones that I have are actually for workers outdoors, construction workers, that are actually safety glasses.
Okay.
Because they sit perfectly flush.
Okay. You know, you could get the Biden aviator glasses, you know, and with the loops around the back of them, you know, and then get them mirrored so the players can't see your eyes, so they don't know what you're thinking. You go up to the coach and introduce yourself, and he won't know who's back there.
We're playing cards now.
Yeah,
now we're playing
exactly.
Cards. No, yeah, I'm a fan of the shades instead of the black eye black because mainly, how often am I going to use eye black? I don't even know how long it lasts. I mean, I know where to get it at least, so that's a positive. But like,
I wouldn't even know where to get it, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously you probably find it
Goods,
online somewhere. Yeah,
Dick's Sporting Goods, but it also like if I'm not using it, then it runs the risk of getting broken in my bag.
Yeah.
Then it's the next thing I know, it's all over my bag. So I've used the shades, and I just have my shades that I have for around the house.
So a couple other items that might be good. As we always talk about, the hair dryer is the most important item in the bag. Really good idea. If you're getting an ice cut between, you can warm your feet a little bit on the bottoms and try to dry stuff out a hair just to stay comfortable out there. So even if you're doing indoor in an ice rink, it's a really good idea to have a hair dryer, especially in this weather. You walk in that room and, you know, your t-shirt or your long underwear is damp or cold, whatever the case may be. It's just nice. Warming your skates a little bit before you put them on. Really, really good tip there, folks. Try that.
You also want to carry like a handkerchief. And that sounds crazy, but there are some nights, especially during the winter, that it starts to mist throughout your contest. And there's really no good way to get that off. So a handkerchief is a good way to do that. Yep.
I keep microfiber in my referee pants at all times because this will clean your visor, whether you sweat on it or somebody snows your visor, you know, in a play and whatever you need. These work great. You should have one in your pocket all the time. You don't have to have a big one, but just something to keep that visor clean. What else?
And well, so when I do an outdoor game, I carry an extra pen.
Oh, because they freeze up.
Pens on. Because they freeze.
Yeah.
So I always carry an extra pen when I'm out there, which you wouldn't think you'd go that far until you whip your pen out and it's frozen.
Well, let's throw this one out there. I think they used to be called the Space Pen. And believe it or not, they fit a riot pad perfectly. They're probably $10 or $15, I'm guessing, but they're only about this big. And the Space Pen allows you to be able to write against gravity. So, like, if you want to put it up on glass and write, it doesn't stop writing. But, you know, if you're doing a lot of outdoor games, might not be a bad thing to have. It's not really a bad thing to have even in your ref pad, your riot pad, because, you know,
it'll always write.
It'll always write. You can always get those numbers. Yeah.
You know, they figured this out in the 1800s. It's called a pencil.
I've heard of that thing.
It's called a pencil. It always right.
I think Apple sells one of those now, the iPencil, for like $100 or $130. You can get an iPencil.
Probably writes it into my phone or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Another thing to track me.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that I think a lot of people overlook because it's cold outside is before you're going to an outdoor game, you need to make sure you're hydrated. When you do put on those extra layers and it's cold out, guess what? Every game that I've done outside, I've gotten off the ice 10 times more drenched than I ever have when I'm inside and I'm in the normal warmth, the normal arena, even if it's cold. But because you have the outdoor sun, you could have precipitation coming down. You tend to shiver sometimes during the game. Well, when you do that, you're burning off calories. You're also sweating. So you can get dehydrated a lot faster than you normally would.
Yeah. Well, let's look at a couple more of the comments.
As I said, there's been quite a few comments, so you might as well get going because I think I see one in there.
Backing up, Patrick Waugh to coach New York Islanders. Look, I think that's awesome.
I think that's a good move.
He'll make a heck of a goalie coach for the New York Islanders as well. Okay.
He might beat somebody up too.
Hey, it's hockey. These things happen. Wear 2 pairs of socks, long johns, sweatshirt, carry extra whistle in your pocket. Hey, there was one we didn't touch on. Let's even go a step further. I know you like your Acme Thunderer, I believe. I like the Call, which is the P-less whistle, which will not freeze unless something goes wrong, but it will not freeze. Probably a good idea to have a P-less whistle outside in these cold temperatures.
Doesn't sound like a whistle.
Yeah, you can make that argument.
Train whistles. I'm going to get you
can
one
make
of those
that
train
argument.
Whistles.
I didn't like them when I first started with them, but I like them now, and that's my whistle of choice.
Do you know when I really hate them? When there's like 200 people in the building and they scream and somebody blows the call whistle and nobody can hear it.
How could they not hear it? That's the same whistle they use in a stadium in the NHL with 18,000 people in there.
Yeah, I don't ever hear the call when I'm watching a Hawks game either, unless it's quiet.
Fair enough. All right, so wear 2 pairs of socks, sweatshirt, carry extra whistle in your pocket. Those are great tips. How's Frankie doing today? It's Alan. Alan, those are really great tips, my friend. That's because you've been around hockey for a long time. You get this, so good for you.
And bring the dog.
Yeah, Frankie would enjoy being out there in that cold. I just got her boots today. Her boots finally came in. That was fun to watch her wearing boots for the first time, trying to walk in them. She did not like them very much, but it's been tough trying to walk the dog, 4 or 5 times a day in this weather, between the salt and the cold. It's
the salt. The salt's bad.
The salt too. It's challenging. Yep. All right. Let's see. Alex says, okay, well, Bonzi and Nico did great with that issue last night. I assume you're referring to senior night, I'm guessing. I'm hoping.
I would think so.
He said they did JV, ended with enough time to zam and do ceremony, and the game started at 8, which is, that's how it should be. So good for them. Well done. That's somebody that was thinking ahead and planned accordingly. So very good. Karen says, then there was the team who had JV senior night before their game. Then varsity had senior night before their game. Annoying. So in other words, there were a lot of celebrations that night.
Well, no, I get. So I was at that one too. So I was there for that one, and we couldn't figure out because I was standing and talking with Karen. Why not just have the JV one at the same time as the varsity one in between the 2 games after the JV game? Why did they have to do it twice? It made no sense.
Did they sing the anthem twice too?
I was just getting there when they started senior night for the JV. I don't remember, to be honest with you. I know they did for the varsity game, but they had all this stuff they had to bring out and put on the ice. So it took 15 minutes for them to do that, and then 15 minutes for them to take it off. And it's why are you guys doing this twice?
Yeah. It's $600 an hour, by the way.
Hey, you know what? $600 for nothing.
I think he meant my JV game last night went OT, and so funny you mentioned Illinois West did a good job. Okay.
Wabanzi Valley.
Oh, Wabanzi, okay. And I don't mind with the sudden death shootout after OT. It only takes 2 minutes. Yeah, actually, SHL has this thing down to a system. It's called sudden death shootout. We are so used to most places going 3 rounds of a shootout. We have some that go 5 rounds. That is the dumbest thing ever. Ever. If you're listening to me, dumbest thing ever. Ever. Don't do it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I am. So 3 is cool, but they have sudden death shootout. This is you put one guy out there, and if he scores, the next team gets to try. And if they don't score, the game is over. I mean, that is what I call sudden death. No pressure. And that's the first time I've seen the home team say, "Yeah, we'll shoot first." Because normally they want to shoot. They want to shoot second, but in that pressure. They want to shoot first. So
less pressure at that point. Yeah, I get why they want to shoot first in that one.
Yep. And Alex says, "Of course, Karen, it was a fun night for sure." All right. Carry 2 whistles with you so one does not freeze up. Yes, that's correct. Illinois West used to do a 5-man shootout with no OT. Yeah, again, not a fan of a 5-man shootout. And I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, I did a tournament years ago. I think I was down at Johnny's. It was squirts. And they had a shootout. A 3-man shootout. Wasn't high-level squirts. So I think the first player from each team scored, and then the next player scored, and then the rest of them couldn't even hit the friggin' net. We had to go 17 rounds to get back through the roster to get back to the 2 that could shoot and actually hit the net. And fortunately, one of them finally scored, and
if not, you would have had to have done it again.
Yeah. Can you imagine going another 17 rounds I mean, come on, people. Wake up. Wake up. If you got a squirt tournament like that, sudden death, 1 shootout, one shot shootout, and then you can continue from there, but not a 3-man shootout or a 3-person shootout or a 5-person shootout. We got to figure some of this stuff out, guys. Some folks need some help with this. We're going to help them.
I didn't even plan on the shootout thing. This really grinds your gears. We should have done this with Brad's Corner.
Yeah. Well, here, I'm going to give you the number 1 tip I have for outdoor hockey, because I think you missed this one altogether.
I have the same.
The number 1 tip for outdoor hockey to prepare for one of those games is to not take one. Do not do it.
To play
Do
inside.
not sign up for the outdoor game. That is my number 1 tip for outdoor hockey.
You know what? I did one last year out in Indiana, and it's in the downtown of Crown Point or whatever that is right there, right by the school. And you know what? It's got a roof over it, and it's super well lit, right? And they have, the building that you're in is really nice. It's warm. There's no problems. You get out onto the rink. They have, it's somehow like how it's built within all the buildings. There's no wind coming across the ice. None of that kind of stuff. So it was actually rather pleasant, even though it was only like 4 degrees outside. But it still wasn't too bad. I enjoyed it. I think one thing that we didn't cover is, the thought process of, like if you do have that wind shear, they did it a couple years ago in the outdoor game for the NHL, to where the wind was blowing so bad the one way, they opted to play the game as 2 halves instead of one period. They said that it was such a disadvantage to skate against that wind.
Sure. That
they changed. Just like you have to also be mindful, some of these rinks are built, who knows why, to in the AM. It's just sun right in your eyes.
Right.
So you have to split that period up. So it's one of those things that, as a referee, you got to try and make the game as fair as possible. So that's one thing that you need to be thinking about too. But I'm with you with the whole, I do not like to work outdoor games, so I really don't take them.
I did one my first year. My first year, I didn't know Watts was an outdoor rink when I signed up for the game. I'd never heard of the place, never been there. I was anxious to work a game. I got a night game. And you know what? It was a nice night. I think there might have been a hair mist for 5 minutes. I mean, it was nice. The weather was great. That wasn't the issue. I wasn't cold. I was comfortable. It's just, I don't enjoy it. I don't like the ice. You got to get your skate sharpened afterwards. Outdoor ice on skate blades after you go back in, not the same. So you're going to have to get a skate sharpening, which now is $15, by the way, in some of these rinks. I don't know if you've noticed, at least up on the north side, some of these places are charging $15 for a skate sharpening now. Used to be $5. Then it was $7.
I remember when it was $3.
I remember when it was $1, $2, $3. I go back that far, but now it's $15. Might be a little excessive. I don't know. So $15 to sharpen your skates. I like the Sparks machine. If I was younger, I would buy a Sparks machine because I feel like I'd get my money's worth out of it. I like the computerized skate sharpening process. Unless you got it, there's some really good people that do a great job at some of these rinks. And, if I go into one of those rinks, I'm going to try to get my skate sharpened when I'm there because, I know I'm going to get a good sharpening. So I love that. And, they're able to profile your skates or do whatever you need to do. So I don't discourage you from going to somebody if you like the way they sharpen the skates. But, you have some of these other places where they just grind your blades down at, $150 or $179 for a pair of blades. And they're just,
you know what?
Get them back. And they're they were this big before. They're this big now. Well, it'll be easier for you to pick the puck up, sir.
I got a Sparks machine that's all out of calibration. Scott, bring your skates over. I'll take care of your blades for you.
Yeah, I bet you will.
It's all out of calibration. I didn't know that.
You can't recalibrate it?
I'm kidding.
Oh.
I just want to mess your skates up and piss you off.
Yeah. Oh, we have somebody that watches our show that's been on our show that has screwed my skates up when I was much younger. But that's because we were playing him that Sunday. So he made sure
He's retired now, so you can't hold that grudge. I know exactly who it is, and I'm not going to say his name, but I know who it is.
I don't know if he's watching the show today, but I've never forgotten that. I've mentioned that many times before because my coach had to go into Rainbow Arena and resharpen those skates so I could even stand on them.
I know exactly.
Good times. Good times.
Hey, you know what? There's every once in a while I've heard some guys and juniors to where, the athletic trainer does their skates intentionally not good for them.
Yeah.
And there's nobody else to go to at that point, so you got to go to the visiting team and hope they have a wheel.
Yeah.
So,
I've seen a lot of these places that have Sparks machines in their dressing rooms or, laying around, which is kind of cool. Again, I think that's so cool. I mean, you get your wheel, you're going to get a lot of sharpenings out of them. I think maybe that's a little sideline business for one of our referees to just kind of cart that around and, sharpen skates on the busy days when we got 16 people in the ref rooms.
That's you know what? I'm not reffing next year for CCM. I'm just going to go from rink to rink.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a Sparks machine in the back of my car. I'm going to get myself a shop vac. Hang on, I'm already thinking this out. It's a business model here.
You got to have a shop vac for it too, huh?
Yeah, you got to plug it in there, baby. You plug the shop vac into it. It sucks everything into it. It doesn't get all over my car then.
Okay.
All right. And then I'll get one of those hot dog carts. So as I come in, I'll rip you off for $3 for a hot dog, and I'll charge you $27 for your skate.
Three. That you could probably get 7. Okay. I was in a rink last night, and I had time between games, and I wanted to get a sandwich or something. They're like $20 minimum on Apple Pay. Are you kidding me?
I know that has to do with Apple Pay has a higher percentage that they charge.
Well, that's all I had with me is my phone. I never carry a wallet into a hockey rink.
Neither do I.
There's another great tip for you if you're a referee or a hockey. Don't ever bring your wallet into an ice rink, okay? Be smart.
Unless you happen to have one of those shields in a car that has lights that you drive, because they'll drop your wallet real fast.
What? Car with lights.
So,
police shield, like.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no! Let me tell you a story. There's a rink down in the city,
and
some of the off-duty cops were playing rental hockey there,
Yeah.
And somebody that had just been released from jail decided to come over there and pay the locker rooms a visit. And they happened to catch the guy. And so
I'm sure that guy.
they handcuffed him up and locked him in the bathroom and went back out and finished their game. But yeah, it does happen. So yeah, even if you have one of those shields and lights on the top of your vehicle, I still recommend you leave your wallet in the car.
Yeah, I have not brought my wallet into an ice rink.
Yeah. So that's 2 really good tips today that we had for you. Don't take outdoor games. Don't bring your wallet.
We're kidding about the
But you're talking about the rink in Crown Point or whatever. But I mean, like that rink in Rosemont is gorgeous. What a beautiful environment setting. I mean, you got all the restaurants there. Oh yeah, I mean, you drive by that on the expressway on the interstate. Looks phenomenal.
It is. It's gorgeous, and actually, so they used to. I don't know if they do it still, but they used to have a Kris Kringle market there.
I don't know.
So I was refereeing in a college game. I was refereeing like DePaul and somebody, and they're playing out there, and this guy ranks the puck up and over the glass, and it flies into the Kris Kringle market, right? So I turned to him, I'm like, great, you probably just hit somebody with the puck. Nice job, right? So, like, everybody on the rink, starts laughing. Ha ha, yeah, right. Like, 10 minutes later, there is a lady standing next to the glass with a giant bag of ice on her head. And I'm like, hey, yeah, so this guy's on the ice. And I'm like, you hit that lady! And he looks at her, and he goes, I am so sorry. And she had the puck with her. I was like... Oh my! I'm like, but like the next year I saw they had put like
the nets up. Yeah,
they had put a fencing up on top of the like Kris Kringle tents so that it was higher. But I was like, you just hit somebody with a puck, because it was weird how we shot it and it went really high, and then of course there's this poor lady standing there with a bag of ice, and I'm like, oh, this was just perfect, like.
Yeah, that's tough. I feel bad. You don't know it's coming. Here's another tip for you. If you're in an ice rink, pay attention, folks.
Pay attention. Well, if you're in the Kris Kringle market, you don't expect
If you're in the Kris Kringle market, pay attention.
1 inch disc by 3 inches to slam into your head. So
yeah. All right, Brad. Well, one of your buddies is picking on you. He said, "Turn the fan off."
It's gorgeous. I love the fan.
Karen says at Canlan last night, a lady left her purse in the car and it got stolen. Yeah, did you leave it on the back seat or the front seat, or did you leave it in the trunk of your car locked up? I mean, folks, you can get a safe for your car. They make like safes for your car. You can get one of those if you need to.
I was on the ice once, and I pulled in at Geneva. I came in and all these cops around this car, and I'm like, I think I know whose car that is. And I get out and I go over to the officer. I'm like, hey, I'm pretty sure this is so-and-so's car. They're like, yeah, we ran the tags. That's who it is. Do you know him? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, do you know where he is? I'm like, I'm assuming he's refereeing the ice hockey game that's going on right now. And they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll come in and tell him. I'm like, I'll tell him. So he gets done, and he comes into the locker room, and I'm like, hey, so-and-so. I'm like, I don't know how to tell you this. Somebody broke into your car. And he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm like, no, seriously, somebody broke into your car in the parking lot. He's like, why would anybody break? He goes, my laptop bag.
Oh, no.
He goes, I had my laptop bag, and I didn't take it out of the front seat. And that's what it was. Busted in, took his laptop.
Wow.
So, yeah, there's another valuable tip.
It wasn't you, Brad, was it? Hey, no, it wasn't the guy on that camera over there. It's in the witness protection program.
No. Well, you know what's funny is every time I see that guy, still to this day, he's like, you remember that really horrible day that my car got broken into? And you told me, I'm like, you're not going to let me live this down, huh? I'm like, okay, you know what? I didn't let you walk out there in awe. I'm like,
well, how did they know he even got broken into if he's not the one that reported? If he was on the ice,
somebody called the police.
Did they see somebody doing it, or did they just see the broken glass by the car?
I think they saw the broken glass. and they called the police,
That
if I remember
sucks.
correctly. This was a long time ago.
That just sucks.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You ref and you get ripped off at the same time.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, it's been fun today. I've kind of had a good time with some of this stuff. We've got a couple very exciting things planned we can't talk about for like 2 weeks. Does that sound about right?
It's going to be, hopefully.
Or can we talk about that, or can we not talk about that? No.
No, we're not going to talk about that yet. No.
Okay.
Let's keep that once we get that all confirmed.
Mum's the word. Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. So with that, do we have one more week of hockey before playoffs, or are we done? What's the official?
There might be some. I think some are wrapping up. I think most are wrapping up this weekend. Coming up.
Okay. And
like
you're going to.
And then maybe
you're going to Hockey Congress. Is that what it's called?
Winter meetings. USA Hockey winter meetings start
okay.
Thursday through Sunday. So yeah, I'll be out in Florida. Sorry, it's gonna be like 20s here. It'll be 80.
Wait, you're going to Florida? You're not going to Colorado? I thought you guys went to Colorado for that.
Oh. Summer meetings are in Colorado.
Ah, so you're going to Florida.
Winter meetings are in Florida. They're in Disney.
Oh, really? Orlando. Nice.
Yes.
They take good care of you guys, apparently, huh?
To go to meetings and take off my own personal days, so vacation. Yes, they
do.
Yes.
To go with your $60,000 a year salary, right?
Whoever started that rumor, whatever. Just, you know what? Here, so Tuesday, I'll just say I'll life into what happened. So over the weekend, we had several reports. So after like trying to keep up with them, you can't get to all of them, and then it's like, okay, look for the big ones, right? So we're all going through them. And so Tuesday, I got done with work at like 3:45. I got done with reading all the reports and responding and finding things and helping referees, and it was 12:35 p.m. So it was a long day of hockey
I know.
stuff. But it was all done.
I know you're on it, man. We talk out. People that are watching, trust me, Brad is living, breathing, and sleeping hockey 20 hours a day. I know he works. I know he's got a job, and he does do a good job with that. He's thoroughly gets it done. But hockey is on his mind constantly, so he's always working on our behalf here. So we appreciate that. And nobody tells you that, but
I appreciate that.
We're going to tell you. I know how hard you work at this, and I know how much you love it and you're passionate about it, and it shows. So that's good.
Somebody did it for me, and I'm more than happy to return the favor.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So.
All right. So when are you leaving you're going on vacation? I mean, you're going to Florida when?
I'm going to Hockey Congress Thursday, but I'm not telling you when because there's somebody out there that wants to get the exact flight time. For a prank, so that's not happening.
Yeah, text me. I'll get you a flight number. Don't worry about it.
All right.
No, that's cool. I hope you have great weather. I hope you have great weather while you're inside at all those meetings, 12 hours a day.
Well, hopefully we'll get some updates on what's going on, and we'll be able to have some informative information. A little redundant.
That's redundant.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we're going to play at the UC Center. Okay, we're not going to play at the United Center. Okay, so but hopefully we'll have something to report back once we get back. So
okay, sounds good, and we'll have some updates for everybody with playoffs coming up and all that good stuff. So we will see you guys next Monday, 5:30 p.m. Now you're in town, so we have you next week, right?
Yep.
You won't miss you won't be missing a beat here, so that's good because it's playoff season, folks. We got lots to talk about as we hit playoff season. So I think we're going to probably do some rule reminders and things for playoffs. What do you think? That's probably a good idea.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think we should talk about some stuff that you probably should have in the back of your mind as you're going through some of these games and some intense situations. So, you'll have something to look forward to next Monday, everybody. So with that, thank you all for joining us. Again, we do this Mondays, 5:30 p.m. Central Time from Chicago. We have our local referee-in-chief, Brad Baumruck. I'm Scott Smokin Silz. We appreciate your being here. Have a great week, everybody. Get ready for playoffs. Enjoy yourself. Have some fun out there. Enjoy the intensity, because this is what everybody lives for, including us. We like to be in the hot seat too. So it'll be fun. All right. We'll see you next week right here on the Ref Room. Take care. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and all that good stuff and notification button before you go. All right.